everyone, Reaper here again with another video. Welcome to one of the first top 15 books in my collection videos of 2024. Now I have a top 25 pre-code books, pre-code horror books, excuse me. Pre-code horror books coming out soon. So I'll help you check that out. That one's a little different because it's 25 and it covers a lot of the books that you're going to see in this video and books that you're not going to see in this video. But like I said in my announcement video saying I'm going to be doing top 15s, I wanted to save the top 15s to try to make it a little more specific. And in particular, this one is my top 15 EC horror books in my collection. Before I get started, a little commentary. It was hard to really narrow down top 15. There were several books I, picked out of the collection that I thought were top video worthy, but I had to cut them out because I feel that these are probably the best in my collection when it comes to EC horror, or just EC in general, because there is a sci-fi in here. How could I not put this in the top EC, right? But one last thing, as you know, and I mentioned this in my announcement video, like when it comes to EC, I don't really have any of the sci-fi. I mainly have the horror books and stuff like that. So you're gonna mostly see horror books. But I think that's why a lot of people are here anyway. Okay, so let's start out. I'm not going to say this is number 25, this is number 25. I'll put it down in the description. But I'm not going to just say this is 25 because a lot of times I don't have this all written out and I lose track of numbers. I'm like, oh, what number are we on? All right, but we'll start right here. I have crime suspense stories. I believe, what is this, number 17? For a moment I thought I said 16. I was going to say 16. But 16, this is number 17. Crime Suspense Stories number 16 was one I wanted to put on this list. That's the one with the guy with the razor blade, which I thought, again, like I was saying a few moments ago, was very worthy of a top EC book because of the cover. That's mainly what's going on with these ECs. It's because of the covers, which makes them so infamous or so desirable and all that, because EC has very few first appearances. All right, but this one here I think definitely edged it out because this is the suicide cover, and I think this is it's more controversial. And I bought this baby from Dr. Von Schiller, about 6 years ago. It's a 4.5. He cracked the slab. I don't think Dr. Von Schiller likes slabs too much. I don't know, I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong, John, correct me in the comments. All right, next on the list, this is one I bought at Heroes Con. Actually, Mike, my friend Mike, Mike and Patrick, they have a series of unboxing videos, which are very, very popular. Anyway, meeting up with him, we went to go get this book at Dale Roberts' booth at Heroes Con 2018, and here it is. Tales from the Crypt, number 33. This is the origin of the Crypt Keeper. I think it's, worthy to be in a top 15, right? That's a book that I'm going to be sending to CGC. Because I should. Anyway, next one on the list. How can you not include this one? This is the Christmas cover. This one, Vault of Horror number 35. I've had so many copies of this book over the last, 5-6 years. I was just thinking about this today. There are some books in my collection, EC in particular, that I've had multiple copies. And look, that's a 5.0. It's a straight down the line mid-grade book. It's an expensive book. It's gotten very expensive over the last few years. It was always kind of pricey in the years before that, but you could find it and maybe get a decent deal on it, or a decent price on it, or a reasonable price on it. But now it's gotten to the point where there are people on eBay. Now, this is just people wanting to get money for it, not necessarily getting what they want, but there are people on eBay that are selling just crap copies of this. There's one I saw right now, you may not see it by the time you see this video, where it looked like the book had extensive water damage where you couldn't even see the cover. It's just like all scraped off and stuff. And the guy wants a couple $100 for that. I'm like, I don't think so. But the point is, though, it is a desire. People buy that book because of the cover. If they can't see the cover, why are they going to pay a premium for it? But yeah, it's definitely popular cover for EC horror collectors. Next one on the list, I mean, here's another one. And I've said, it's definitely, it belongs on this list. I like it. But a lot of times with this book, Haunt of Fear number 17, this is the second Haunt of Fear number 17. There were 2 of them. I know it gets confusing. I'll explain some other time. But this is Haunt of Fear number 17, I guess, 17 part 2. It's a great cover by Graham Ingalls. It's widely sought out. I'm glad I have a 6.5, so it's a decent grade, But a lot of people like that cover. I like it, but I don't like it as much as other people. I think that the Ghoul Lunatics, and this is a complaint I've made about that book in the past, where they're covering the zombie that's right in front, I think it takes away from it. But that's what they were known for, having the Ghoul Lunatics on the cover in that way. I guess it would have been odd for them not to have them in that way. So, but it's still pretty good. Oh, I didn't even know I ranked this one right next. Good. Remember we were talking about Haunt of Fear 17. That was the second one. Well, this is the first Haunt of Fear 17, which is regarded, even though it's number 17, after this book, the numbering gets changed. This is widely seen as Haunt of Fear number 3, and it's a scarce book. And oh, are you going to upgrade it one day? I don't know. Maybe. I'd like to upgrade it. I got a 4.0. I wouldn't mind getting a 6 or a 5.5. But I'm pretty happy with this right now because it's expensive and it's hard to find. But this is the origin of the Crypt Terror, Vault of Horror, and Haunt of Fear. So definite must on a top 15 or a top EC video. Here we have Tales from the Crypt number 20. This is the first time the series is called Tales from the Crypt. I'm going to send this off to CGC hopefully sometime this year, maybe early next year, because I believe it belongs in a slab. I'm thinking it's a 4.0, so we'll see what happens, but definitely an important issue. Expensive, not scarce, but you don't often see it. And there's a lot of other EC books I could have put in this video that you do not often see, that are expensive, but I don't think they were as sought out as the ones in this video. I could be wrong. This is one that I definitely need to upgrade. This is probably a 2.5, and again, it's scarce. Haunt of Fear number 15, often regarded as Haunt of Fear number 1. You have that prototype of the old witch on the cover, even though it's not the old witch. But here we have Johnny Craig cover, Haunt of Fear number 15. Like I said, it's a 2.5. I would like to get a 4 because it does get pricey. I think I told the story that one time I passed on getting a 6, and I could have got it for one hell of a deal, but at the time I didn't have the money, so I was never the one to spend money that I didn't have. But geez, if that 6.0 was offered at the price that it was back 6 years ago, oh man, that would have been nothing. I would have snatched that up. All right, here's the next one. This is Vault of Horror number 12, often regarded as Vault of Horror number 1. 3.5. Again, I'd like to upgrade this to maybe a 5 one day, but this is an upgrade itself from, I think I had a 2.5. So I think it was a 2.5. Either a 2 or a 2.5. I'm pretty sure it was a 2.5. Anybody that studies my videos, you can tell me. But definitely a better upgrade for sure. I mean, even though it's a 3.5, it's so much nicer than that 2.5 I had. I say, well, it's only a point higher. There's a big difference. Sometimes there are 3.5s and then there are 3.5s. You could say that with anything. But yeah, definitely want to upgrade it again one day. But for now, it's good at a 3.5, and it's an important book. Okay, now we're getting to, I believe, the very first appearance in this video. Haunt of Fear number 16. This is really Haunt of Fear number 2. This is the first appearance of the Old Witch. I have a 4.0 white pager. The staple on the bottom has a little bit of rust. But the rest of the book looks pretty good. I mean, it's got 4.0 creases and all that stuff, but nothing weird other than that little bit of staple rust and a little staining because of the staple on the back. But nothing insidious. But yeah, I'd like to upgrade this one day, maybe to a 6. But again, we'll see. But Haunt of Fear number 16, first appearance of the Old Witch. And here's another one I'd like to upgrade. Yeah, I'm always in upgrade mood. But down the line. Here we have War Against Crime number 10. This is the first appearance of the Vault Keeper. Now this is, I believe, this is the only sci-fi book I have in this top 15. Like I said before, I don't really collect the sci-fi. I would like to get into them. If I had more of them, maybe one or two more would be in this, and the Suicide cover might have been put on the chopping block, no pun intended. But I don't know. But I think that we could all agree that this is a classic. This is Weird Science Fantasy number 29. It's a nice high grade too, you know. Will I be upgrading this one? Probably not. But here we have Weird Science Fantasy number 29, classic Frank Frazetta cover. My only Frank Frazetta cover that I know of. We're getting down to it. We have 4 more. One of my favorite covers from the EC line, Shock Suspense Stories number 6, and also a recent upgrade. I had a 3.0 and I sold it, and I think I told the story about selling the 3.0 and all that. So here we have the nice 6.0. Classic cover. Here we have another one that I would like to upgrade one day. I know, everything's upgrade, right? Crypt Terror number 17, 3.0. Yeah, it's not an easy one to upgrade because it's expensive, and sometimes it's kind of hard to find. I mean, it's not rare, but you typically don't see it. You can maybe go on eBay and find a couple, and if you want to pay those eBay prices, you be my guest, and then pay the taxes on top of that. Go right ahead. But not for me. My day will come. But for right now, I'm very happy with a 3.0, considering I thought it might have gotten a 2.5 before I sent it out. Sent this out in my copy of Shock 6, and they both came back 3.0s. And this is an off-white to white pages, so I'm happy with that, you know. I think the Shock was also off-white. I think it was just off-white. I don't remember. Not important. But the importance of this book cannot be disputed. It is Crypt Terror number 1. Previously Crime Patrol, the title of the series, turned to Crypt Terror and really ushered in the new trend. Moving on. We're down to the last 2. Maybe some would disagree with what I put as the number 1 and the number 2. Well, here's number 2 on the list. Crime Suspense Stories number 22. Again, a book I'd like to upgrade down the line, but this is the famous Decapitation cover. It really doesn't need much of an intro from me, but I decided to put this at number 2 because I still feel, even though the number 1 book doesn't generate the controversy or the infamy that this one has, I still think it's a little bit more important. But on any top EC list, no matter what you're talking about, sci-fi, crime, humor, like with Mad, this would definitely be at the top. One of the books, if not the top of those lists. And the last one, I think we could all predict what this is. If you watch my channel, you know what I'm talking about. Crime Patrol number 15. This is the first appearance of the Crypt Keeper. I think this is the most important EC book. I'm sure out there are rarer ones, and obviously, like I was just talking about, there were some the more controversial ones, like the Crime 22 and even the Crime 17, right? The Suicide cover and the Decapitation cover. But I think this is probably the most important one. This introduced us to the Crypt Keeper, which spawned all the horror titles. Crypt Terror / Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, Haunt of Fear, Shock Suspense Stories, and even the crime stories got more graphic because of this book, in my opinion. So I think that this is the most important EC book out there. And you're free to disagree with me. That's fine. But that is my number 1 on my top 15 EC books in my collection. This would be interesting to revisit one day down the line, but I probably imagine it would be the same because I really don't bring in too many EC books. I mean, there are books I want to finish, like a series like Shock, and I'll probably bring in a few more crime ones, but I really don't see those books, and even sci-fi ones, I really don't see any of those books overtaking the Crime Patrol number 15 or the Crime Suspense Stories number 22. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed this kind of like a first of this series that's going to be going on throughout the rest of the year. And take care. Thanks for watching.